Welcome to Respawning Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast where four lifelong friends gather to talk about video games. I'm Holden DePardo. That's Chad Michael Ennis.
What's up?
We have special guest Adam Gumby from East Coast Games Podcast.
What's up, everybody?
And you're you, and that's why we love you. Chad's going to start us off with the instruction manual for Adam Gumby, who I just introduced. So Chad, go
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a segment we call Read the Adam Gumby Instruction Manual, where we get a new game or a new person on our show, and we read the instruction manual and find out all about them in the back of our mom's car while we try not to throw up down the road because we get motion sickness and didn't take our Dramamine. Here is... I don't get motion sickness. I just imagine that's a thing that people have. I'm perfect. So, Adam, I've got 3 interview questions for you and 10 video game word association questions. We're going to start by just asking you, without mentioning video games, describe yourself.
I would say I am a black African-American male. That's the first one. No, I'm Adam.
That technically is correct. It does not have video games in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have video games. No, I'm Adam. I'm super big into all things, not video game related, but all nerdy. So into sports, but in a nerdy way. Into wrestling, but in a nerdy way. Into D&D. Oh, that's nerdy on its own. Yeah, so I'm just, whatever I'm into, I'm super into, and it just happens to be 3 things. Well, I guess with games 4 that don't match at all. But once I'm into something, I'm all the way into it. So
nice. Commit 100%.
110%.
Adam. You create content. Tell us about your content.
Yeah, so I make a podcast, East Coast Games, should come out every week, which is, a sort of a deeper dive, like, not news specifically, but like, oh, let's talk about this thing that happened recently, in more of a way like that. And then I've been saying this forever, I have about 80 episodes of a D&D podcast that I'm ready to publish at any moment. So it's not out yet, but whenever it does come out, I'll let everybody know.
Wait, what?
80 episodes?
I think it's 80 episodes.
Why haven't you released them? You have 80 episodes.
I'm waiting on music. That's it.
Oh,
I'm waiting on theme music. And I just keep editing.
High production values, and you're like going for it.
I'm trying to, as best I can.
That sounds like
awesome.
us. We've been recording video for our podcast for 6 months. And we're just waiting for, lower thirds because one of us is lazy and the other one doesn't know how to do lower thirds.
That's exactly me. I think in January it'll be a year that we've done a weekly session, and each session is about 2 episodes worth. So actually probably closer to 100 episodes at this point. Just waiting on it. It'll come out one day.
That's amazing. Question number 2.5. This one doesn't really count, but do you remember Rage 2?
Yes.
Twist! Rage 2 came out this year. Blows my mind. Nothing ever happened with that game. Did you ever play it?
They just put on Game Pass, and I just started it up about a week ago.
Look at that. It's going to go the way of Anthem soon.
It is. I can remember. I understand why no one remembers that game came out this year.
I was going back through. Usually that question is, remember Anthem. But we actually played Anthem this week, so I'm going to talk about it, and it's not fair. So I was going back there. I was like, what else came out this year? I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. Rage 2 came out, and it had a huge marketing push.
Kingdom Hearts 3 as well.
That was my runner-up. Final question. Who's someone who truly inspires you?
I would say anybody who hustles super hard. I'm going to get real. I'll go kind of nerdy here. I guess for me, Triple H. You guys know Triple H. The old wrestler from the 90s and 2000s.
The prequel to Vin Diesel's Triple X?
Yes, it is. It was when...
Several prequels beforehand.
Yeah, he wasn't an agent yet. No, so Triple H is a guy who used to be a wrestler during the Attitude Era, so like Stone Cold, Rock, all that kind of stuff. And then he married Vince McMahon's daughter. And now he runs a brand called NXT. And it's the best wrestling on TV. And I'm just like, hey, that guy's really cool. Like, he was a professional athlete. He moved up, and now he's owning and creating a thing that's better than the guy who hired him all those years ago. So, shout out to that. That guy's hustle is ridiculous. So I'm all about that.
Good answer. Most everyone is like, oh, oh, my mom. And like, no, you're just like, I got a guy ready to go. That's awesome.
No.
All right. 10 questions before we get into our episode. They are just video game word association. So I say something video game related. You just say quickly whatever comes to mind, as long as it's not offensive. Starting with Anthem.
I was about to say garbage. I don't know why.
That's how this
First
works.
word.
Great.
Oh no.
Qbert.
Fun.
Arcade.
Classic.
Touchpad.
iPhone.
Doritos.
Locos Taco.
Yes. Mountain Dew.
Baja Blast.
Were you fishing for Jeff Keighley there?
Mountain Dew Code Red.
Mountain Dew Live Wire.
All right. Sierra Mist.
Knockoff Sprite.
Yes, thank you. Sierra Mist sucks. Vitality sensor.
We Fit. I don't know why. Yeah.
And finally, season pass.
Mass Effect 3.
All right. I think Locos Tacos is the best answer you had there because it's the frickin' bee's knees.
That was
so good.
immediately, like, you didn't even have to finish saying the word Dorito, and that was already coming out of my mouth.
Your word is Loco Taco. All right, hold on. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Take us through this episode.
Yeah, so we start off with playtime. Talk about what we've been playing this week. Let's start off with Adam. Adam, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, yeah. I've got a big list, because I came on earlier this year, I believe it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
like
it's been a long
February,
time.
March maybe?
Yeah, I'm
something
going to
like
say everything I've played since the beginning of the year. No, not really.
Rage 2.
Getting ready for Game of the Year stuff. I guess I'll just knock some stuff out of here. Fire Emblem, Three Houses. I just picked that up like the other day. Trying to get in that. I mean, that game's awesome. Trying to smooch all those people.
Do you have time to beat that whole game before the end of the year?
Probably not. I'll probably get 20 hours in. We'll see what I can do.
You got to do all 3 campaigns, all 270 hours of that game.
That's not going to happen. I'll see how many fights I can get into. Pretty much. Let's see. Pokemon Sword. Of course, that was a little while ago. Slay the Spire. DMC 5, Hitman 2, Control, Rage 2. There it is. And Jedi Fallen Order. These are all the things I've played in the last 2 weeks trying to get ready for the end of the year stuff.
If I remember correctly, like a week and a half ago, you tweeted out, like, what should I be playing for the end of the year? I've already got Control. Mm-hmm. How have you beat Control? Do you love it? Do you want it?
No, I am.
What's going on?
I'm probably like 4 hours into Control.
Okay.
I'm liking it, but I also love Remedy. I've loved literally everything they've ever done. So I was like, I'm going to get to this eventually. But I'm like, now it's that time. I got to get to it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, Remedy's weird, man, but like in the best way. Sam Lake's just like, can I make a TV show? They're like, we're a video game company. He's like, yeah, I'm making a TV show. And it's, I love
guess
his
video games are
storytelling.
TV now.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's like Twilight Zone video game every time he makes something. I love it.
Dope. Yeah.
I'm playing DMC as well. How are you liking it so far?
I beat the first level, and it's very anime. It's very Japanese.
Yes.
I mean, it's a fun action game. I don't know what's going on in the story. I don't know who these anime boys are, but it is a fun game. So I'm gonna get through that, at some point. God knows when, but I mean, it's fun to play. So
Yeah, I haven't played any of them either. So I'm like, I don't know who Dante is. I don't know who Nero is. I don't know who V. I have no idea who anybody is or what the hell is going on. They fight demons.
yeah.
That game is basically just about being super stylish and cool and looking badass and then shooting shit and killing shit.
Yeah.
That's the great American dream.
You've got anime guy with the motorcycle sword, and you got goth magic dude so far is what I've seen. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, Adam Driver. It's basically just Kylo Ren in a different outfit.
It is.
Well, that's a lot. You played a lot this week for sure.
Yeah. Trying to
Actually,
catch up.
I'm curious what you're thinking of Jedi Fallen Order, because Chad and I notoriously have not enjoyed that game that much.
Yeah.
I think is fair to say.
I love that game. It won't be my game of the year, but it would be my top 5. The thing is, at the start, I also love Star Wars. Like, watch all the Clone Wars, watch Rebels. I do all that nonsense. I love it at the beginning. It slows down in the middle, then you get a power and it gets good again. That's the way that I saw it. And yeah, I'm on my second playthrough of that, trying to at the harder difficulty now.
The hardest difficulty, or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
woo,
Doing my
good
best.
luck on those final couple of bosses.
God, right? Who are you telling? My only real issue is that I had some technical problems in the late part of the game where like the world wouldn't load in and stuff.
Oh yeah, we're familiar with that.
It was very strange. But as far as a Star Wars game go, and I also normally don't really love Souls games. And I know it's not exactly a Souls game, but it's enough of a Souls game where I can make fun of someone for liking it, but I like it, so I don't say anything.
I think it's a Souls game. I think it's for sure a Souls game.
Yeah.
It might not be as hard, but it's definitely a Souls game. See, as much as I was kind of down on it last week, and I'm not like a super big fan of the game, I would say, I'm really glad it exists because I want more single-player Star Wars games like this. So I'm really happy that the buzz has been really high for it, that it's selling really well. I just wish I had a better experience with it myself. But I'm like crossing my fingers they keep going with this because everything about it I liked it, just it meshing together.
Yep.
It's
I will
kinda how it meshed
100% play a sequel that Respawn has time to polish.
Oh yeah, the sequel will be super dope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure. But again, I'm watching. I just watch everything Star Wars. I'm too much into Star Wars. I'm like, I know that reference.
You go hardcore. You nerd out on everything you love.
I have to, yeah. So, but I definitely see where people didn't love it. I definitely see that I had problems with it too. But yeah, I'm with you. Give it some time in a sequel. This game's already a big deal, but a polished version of that game would be the best.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What color lightsaber did you end up going with?
Oh, good question.
What you say? What color lightsaber?
Yeah.
Did I start with or end with?
End with
Purple.
That's
good choice.
I asked. I was playing spoilers Anthem with Trevor and Matt, and Matt was purple. I almost went purple, but then Trevor and I both agreed we went yellow. I was like, yellow looked really dope, especially because I made the lightsaber itself like a teal color.
Oh, okay,
nice.
Yeah. My thing is, I like how they all have different sounds, and I think the cyan and the purple got like some really cool sounds. I think one of them was like super deep.
I didn't know that at all.
They all buzz differently.
Oh,
I chose green
dope.
just because it's green, and green's like the best color lightsaber you can get. Duh. It's Luke Skywalker's color.
It's Baby Yoda color.
It's Baby Yoda.
There you go. The little short lightsaber.
I love it.
All right. So Chad just mentioned Anthem. I'm very curious what that was like. So here's the story here, is that Chad tweeted out, actually Trevor tweeted out saying that they had Anthem on sale for like $5. Chad was on board for it, and I was like, I refused. I just refused to play that game because I'd already played the demo this year, and I just really disliked the demo. Chad knows this because I was very obnoxious while playing with him, and I think he wanted to punch me because I was vocally disliking the game. So, Chad, was it redeemed? I'm very curious.
Holden, Joel Campos found the screenshot of me on the GG app. Follow me on GG at Chad Mike Innes, where it says Chad started playing Anthem, and then 3 hours later, Chad abandoned Anthem. Like, I think that says it all. This game,
I saw that and laughed out loud. That was amazing.
There's more to this game that I liked than I was expecting, which I think is a positive, obviously. We started out, first of all, it's game night. So if you want to play with us, patreon.com/respawn aimfire, $1. You can play with us every week on Thursday nights most of the time. So we were playing Anthem. It was me, Trevor, and Matt. None of us had played it before. And there's a single-player mission you have to do, and then you can all squad up in a way. It's not like Destiny, though, where you can form a fire team, and then you all gather in the tower, and you decide what you're going to do. It's like you go to the mission select screen, and then you choose the party that you want to go, and then you guys go out on that mission together. So it's like a little bit different there. There's going to be a lot of Destiny comparisons, by the way, which I think is apt because the game is basically a Destiny ripoff. But
no,
yeah,
but it's in third person.
Remember
How
all the
could it
time?
be a Destiny ripoff?
Wasn't it Anthem? They were trying to say no, it's not like Destiny at all. Probably before they even knew what it was, as they were developing it 3 months before launch. Anyway,
at that point it wasn't. They didn't lie.
That's right. They didn't know
what it was until like a week before it came out.
The flying does feel really cool. What feels even cooler, I played as the Storm this time, which you didn't get to do in the demo. In the demo, you were just the Ranger no matter what. Actually, unless you played a lot of the demo. But unlocked the Storm right off the bat. And the Storm is the elemental one, and you hover in the air and shit, and you call down lightning and shoot fireballs and little ice pellets, and you can upgrade all your elemental powers. And it was so cool. The ultimate ability of the storm was super cool. I felt powerful. The issue we had a lot with the demo where everything felt like just a bullet sponge, I didn't feel like that way at all playing it this time around, which was good. I was just like, freeze, 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 boom, fire, you're dead. Freeze, boom, fire, you're dead. Matt played the, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the big heavy guy. And his ultimate was just a gun that he held on his butt that he pulled out and shot people with his butt gun. He seemed to have a fun time, but just not as fun as Trevor and I did with the storm. So I had a really cool character, but the game itself is obviously designed in a different way than people are trying to play it. Like, this is notorious. When it first came out, you couldn't switch weapons between missions or switch weapons in a mission or upgrade your equipment or anything like that. You had to leave the world, go back to the forge, which was in the city, and then all the loot that you got, you can finally look through it. And people were like, fuck that. That's way too long, first of all, to wait for it to load. Second of all, it's just bad game design. So now you can do that in the world, which was fine. It was great. But then the game itself is designed around you going back to the city so much that, like, we finished 2 missions, and then we're like, I don't know what to do next. I mean, I've equipped all my shit, and there's no more quests for me to do. So we're like, oh, I guess we have to go back to the city now and pick up a quest so that we can continue. It was just we had to go speak to one person. It was like, that seems like a waste. Yeah. The game was designed around, well, you're going to have to come back here after every mission anyway. But then whenever that breaks the flow of the way that it is now, when I can do all this out in the world, and now it suddenly feels like a huge break in my flow whenever I have to go back to the city. Didn't enjoy that. The fun part of obviously was flying, and then there's that cooldown timer on the like you overheat really quickly. So hovering was cool as a storm, but if you're not playing as a storm and you're just flying, like, good luck flying for any amount of time that's reasonable or worthwhile. So they're like, yeah, this is a really cool mechanic, and then nope, we're not gonna let you use it. And then because of all of that too, game design, like for the missions and things like that, we ended up playing the same mission twice. The second mission of the game, we played it twice on accident because we didn't realize until about halfway through, it was like, this is exactly the same thing that we did before, which was similar enough to the first mission that's why we didn't. It was like, oh, they're all kind of exactly the same. You just go to a point, kill some bad guys, use your little sonar to find something nearby, and then so the fact that we didn't even realize that we were doing a mission over again means that they were all very cookie cutter, the same boring ass shit. No story. There's some good voice acting from a couple of characters, but overall, the whole time I was thinking, man, Destiny Season 8 ends in like a week, and we could be doing stuff there and earning our Season Pass rank and getting all these exotics and doing all this cool shit and playing Gambit, and instead we're sitting here playing Anthem, and we're bored, and this is terrible. So I'm not a fan of Anthem, and that's it.
All right.
Yep. But then I finally finished Jedi Fallen Order, and now that I know that I'm not going to go back and platinum that and go find all the extra shit, I'm like, good, I can get back to Death Stranding. So jump back into Death Stranding, picked right back up at the beginning of Chapter 3 where I left off earlier, and about 30 minutes into that I said, Marie Kondo, does this not spark joy? I am not I am not happy playing this game right now.
You gotta throw it out.
Yep. So I was like, gotta throw it out. Gotta throw it in the trash. I abandoned Death Stranding. I might come back to it much, much later, but at the time, I'm just like, there's not enough going on in the game right now for me to want to play this with everything else there is to play.
I feel the same thing. I stopped playing to play Jedi Fallen Order, Pokemon Shield when that came out, and I'm just like, why would I return? I was in a point in the game where it was frustrating to progress because I had to get that like exosuit like skeleton thing you can wear, and the battery on it had died, so it's gonna be a pain in the ass to go through all the mules that are between me and the main camp where I could refuel it again. So I was like, fuck, I just don't want to play this game. I'm done.
Yep.
It's just not worth it.
It just did not spark joy. So I said, all right, let me look at my list. I've got a list of games that I have to play before the end of 2019. And all that's left on it now is Pokemon, Outer Wilds, and Donut County, because it's our barf game, and Surge 2. So I said, I'm leaving on vacation in like 10 days. What can I play that I could probably finish in those 10 days? I looked up how long to beat Outer Wilds, and it said 16 hours. I was like, okay, I could finish that and not like leave halfway through and be like pining for it the whole time I'm back in North Carolina. So I jump in Outer Wilds, and I played it for about an hour, and I said, nope, no. This game has great music. It's got great visuals, but I am not about to fucking wander all over the galaxy with no direction, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, and then figure out how to do once I figure out what I'm supposed to do, figure out how to do that efficiently. Nah, that's too much wasted time for me. So I abandoned the Outer Wilds after about an hour, and I don't think I'm coming back to that one.
Don't.
Holden thinks it's so magical and special, but
I'm so sorry. It's a magical experience, but it is like you have to enjoy that journey. If you don't enjoy the traveling on the planets, you're not going to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Because we did an episode where we all sat down and played it because one of us really, really liked it. So you guys got to try this. We tried it out. And the thing he ended up actually not even finishing it. The thing about that is, like, I think the game is intriguing is the perfect word for like 1 to 3 hours. And after that, if you're not stuck with it it's done. Like, I just looked up the ending, and what you have to do to beat the game is, I never would have got there. I didn't enjoy it enough to try to get there. But it is very intriguing. When you first start, you're like, man, this world's really cool. There's mystery everywhere. But then you get to that point where it's like, what am I actually supposed to do? And then your 20 minutes is up, and it's like,
yep.
That's how I felt anyways.
That's exactly how I felt too. I was, okay, I know now that I don't have to finish this. I can put that away. And now I'm very excited. I almost had time to start it today, but then I forgot they were celebrating my dad's birthday, and I had to FaceTime into my dad's birthday and tell him I love him and watch him open presents. No, he's great. I love him. Happy birthday, Dad. But even though it's tomorrow, he wasted my Sunday because his birthday's actually tomorrow. Anyway, so I'm going to pick up the Surge 2. And I'm going to play through the Surge 2, and I can't frickin' wait. And then while I'm home, I'll play on my Switch Donut County and Pokemon. That's it. That's all I played this week.
All right. I played a few things this week. For game night, since I didn't play Anthem, I played Sea of Thieves with Dallas. And that game is a great... It's like coming off of Destiny, which is very intense and action-packed. It was a nice change of pace just to sail and go get treasure. I found it really enjoyable, and I would like to do it with everyone else in the game night if everyone else is up for that. I think Dallas and I had a good time with it.
Can I tell you, sorry, one small thing about that. One thing I love about Destiny 2 and what they did with the free-to-play is that they've made so much content immediately available to everyone. You can jump into this game and do so many things right off the bat. And that's part of what I felt restricted with Anthem. I was like, I can only do like these 3 quests, and I don't know what the fuck to do. And then Sea of Thieves, you're like, yeah, you can just jump in and you can just go sail and find treasure. It's like, no, it's great. Continue.
Dallas has said there's a lot more content now. I'm not sure how to compare it, but I can see this being a gameplay loop that can be kind of fun, where you're essentially getting a treasure map, finding the shape of that island on the big world map, and then sailing there. And the sailing, I thought, was actually just kind of fun. And
sorry, we can't not call that out now that we've typed it and we've laughed. Adam was trying to kill a spider, and he's freaking out, looking behind him all the time.
We were sitting here talking, and this black spider is behind me, and I swatted it, but I didn't crush it when he's gone. And I'm really fucking scared.
Oh, he's terrified now. He's running away, the spider. He's like, that guy tried to hit me. I'm not dealing with this.
You fucking better run away. Anyway,
he's going to get his friends.
So you then find that on the treasure map, you get the island, and then you can find that island shape on the world map. You sail there. Oh, the sailing. That's where it was. The sailing's kind of fun because the waves in the ocean, first of all, just look unbelievably good. And it acts very realistically, where the wave can actually change the course of the ship a little bit. So you do have to kind of keep an eye on steering the ship and making sure you're kind of staying the course. It really does rely on everyone talking to each other, because the sails kind of get in the way when you're on the steering wheel. It's not called a steering wheel. There's another name for it.
The boat wheel.
The
captain's
boat wheel. I don't
wheel.
know
Ship wheel. I don't know. What is it?
We're just going to call it the captain's wheel.
It's a steering wheel, isn't it?
Wheel. I think there's a different name for it. Anyway, so the point is that I can see where it's fun to kind of communicate with your friends and try to find the treasure together. We didn't really get into too much combat, so I can't speak to that. We did run into the Kraken, though, and there's only 2 people on the ship. That Kraken kicks her ass. We were done. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it, and I'd like to have like a large group of people playing it as well. I think it'd be a good time. So I liked Sea of Thieves.
It is a steering wheel, by the way.
Is it called steering wheel? Okay.
Yeah. Also, one thing about Sea of Thieves that I didn't realize, Matt said that was his most played game in 2018.
Really?
Yeah, and he said he was all about it. So if we want to make that another game night on Xbox One,
then he'll be able to help us out.
We've got a ringer,
Brendan Fraser.
Yep, we've got our Brendan Fraser helping us find the national treasure.
That game is super good when you have a full crew. I've played with a full, 4 people. Galleon, I believe it's called. Yeah, the game's awesome.
Yeah, and I have an Xbox now, and so it's on Game Pass, which is just easy to get. Not a big deal. Speaking of Game Pass, Devil May Cry 5 is also on Game Pass. I started playing that a little bit. I got 5 chapters in or so. And I mentioned earlier in the year that I wanted to try playing this because I don't have a lot of experience in the action genre. Or the stylized action genre, at least. And it's fun, but it's not very challenging, which makes me kind of want to play something else. It's kind of how I feel right now. Where I'm surprised I'm doing as well when I feel like I'm as I am, but when I'm just mashing buttons, that I'm not really satisfied while playing it. But it controls really well. It looks unbelievably good. It's got a really cool soundtrack that really works with to kind of build up energy. But kind of like that's where the energy is coming from in the game, and not so much the gameplay itself. So maybe I just need to keep playing it to start getting to more challenging enemies in that game. But right now, it's kind of too easy to be enjoyable for me. I might rank up the difficulty. I don't know.
I was about to ask. I don't remember if it had a difficulty system.
I think it does. There's something about ask me like if I was a human or a devil hunter.
Ooh,
something like that.
Sexy. It sounds like a.
I think there's 2 options
Tinder
at the
profile.
Start.
Yeah.
Demon hunter.
Maybe that's our Cosmo quiz next time. Are you a demon or a devil hunter?
I also played a Resident Evil 2 because I wanted to kind of remind myself of that game, and then I had to tell myself, "Stop, Holden, you get it. It's an amazing game. Stop playing it. You have other things you have to play." God, that game's really good. And then last week, we talked about how I beat Jedi Fallen Order as well as Chad, and I kind of played Sekiro because I found those games were pretty similar to each other, and I wanted to play Sekiro, and I got wrapped up into playing Sekiro from the beginning all over again.
Wait, did you ever beat it the first time?
No, I didn't. I didn't beat it the first time.
You just restarted it?
Yeah, I mean, I could have just started from where I was in that game, but because the game is so skill-based, I'm like, there's no way I could beat that boss that I already couldn't beat when I was good at the game.
Yeah.
Let me get better at him and go back. And man, that game is hard. It's so hard. But it's really satisfying. It's incredibly satisfying to play. And I really would like to try to beat it before the end of the year. I'm not 100% certain I can do it, but I really want to try.
Beat Control, dude.
I know. Well, so here's the thing I'm battling with. Sekiro is one of the best games I've played this year, easily, and it would be a Game of the Year contender. But I haven't beaten it, and it feels weird to put a game that on that list that I haven't beaten.
Well, then don't put
even
it on the
though
list.
It's one of the most memorable games of this year for me. So I'm caught.
Like a rat.
But I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it again. It's great. It's good stuff. All right. Moving on to our quest log. Starting off with the fetch quests this week. First off, the next Outlast game is a co-op survival. This is from Hiron Cryer at Eurogamer. It'll support up to 4 players. It's called The Outlast Trials, and it'll take place in Soviet Russia during the Cold War. Still in early development. I wish they were more specific in Cold War, because that's like a 40-year time span. So I don't know where exactly that takes place, but I get the concept. That's cool. Valve Index's VR. Yeah, we have. Is one of them on Game Pass right now? One of them was on PlayStation Plus.
I think last month Outlast 2 was on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, and I think they've been on Games with Gold at one point, because I own one for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did not buy it. So
yeah. Outlast 1 was also PlayStation Plus like 3 years ago or something like that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Valve's Index VR hardware on back order in the U.S., quote, due to recent high demand. Matthew Olson at US Gamer. Obviously, that's because Half-Life Alyx.
Yep. I forget, is that's not exclusive to the Index. Like, you can play that with other headsets,
right? No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, other headsets will work with
that's
it.
Just
but
like
it comes
the best headset to play.
Yeah, it also comes for free with the headset. If you bought a Valve Index or you buy one in the future, it comes with it. Star Citizen has raised $251 million in funding, according to Alex Calvin at PC Game Insider. That was $50 million of that was just this year alone, which is crazy. When will that come out?
Let me stop you real quick. I heard about Star Citizen, I started my job about 6 or 7 years ago. I was listening to podcasts then about the Kickstarter when I started working. What is up with this game? Is this a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's still happening, I guess. There's 2 games now. So there's Star Citizen and there's something Squad 42 or something like that. And it's a single-player game in that universe that has a bunch of A-list actors in it, like Mark Hamill, Gary Oldman, who's the woman from X-Files? She's in it. It has a surprisingly good cast, and I'm forgetting some people that surprised me as well. But yeah, they've been raking in money. There's been some controversy around them charging for ships in the game at like $1,000 per ship. And I guess people are doing it. That's how they're raising $50 million. It's ridiculous. So it's happening. I don't know what's going on there, though.
The Avengers had a budget of $220 million. The Avengers, Marvel's first Avengers movie. And this thing has raised $251 million. That's insane.
Nintendo sold over 800,000 Switches over Thanksgiving week in the U.S. Andrew Smith at IGN. That's the highest sales within a week for Nintendo Switch. Good job. I'm sure Switch Lite had a big part of that, too, because it was on sale.
I can't wait for a good color of the Switch Lite. I'm going to get it so hard.
I want a midnight purple real bad. Super Mario Maker 2 adds Link as a playable character. This is when you use the Master Sword power-up. That's Brian Shea, Game Informer. This is when you use the Master Sword power-up, which is only in the Mario Bros. 1 theme, which I thought was interesting.
You want to know something funny? Weeks ago, I was thinking about the instruction manual segment, and I was like, remember Anthem? And I was like, what can I put in front of Anthem instead of Anthem? And I thought, Super Mario Maker 2, because no one talks about that game anymore. But this is a cool little twist.
It is.
And you can do not just you're playing as a skin of Link, but you have the down thrust attack with the sword and
bombs and all that, bow and arrow, all that.
Bombs.
Yeah. There's a lot to it. Sony schedules a final state of play for 2019, but still won't talk about the PS5. That's from Matthew Olson at US Gamer. It's going to be December 10th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 6 a.m. Pacific Time.
Any predictions you got?
I think this is going to be a big one. I think Resident Evil 3 might actually be here. It was leaked by a PSN listing.
100%.
And it's been teased for so long. It feels right because it's not going to be the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley said it's not going to be the Game Awards. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think that's going to be the big surprise.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah,
oh my god, I can't wait for that.
Only thing I want is more Ghost of Tsushima because that is the only PlayStation game. Not the only one I care about. That's the one I care about the most.
I'm desperate for more information on that.
We're ready for it too. It's been a while. I think the last we heard of it was E3 last year.
No, there was something this year. There was a demo this year where we actually saw gameplay. Where was that?
That was E3.
I feel like that was this weird then. E3 with the stage that rotated or whatever. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was. Ago. It was. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
the last time we saw it.
No, that's when they revealed it, right?
I think that's the last time we saw it.
No, I'll look it up.
Yeah,
you look it up. I'm curious because that's the only thing I can think that they've shown off of that game. But I also might be wrong because it's not a game I've been following very closely.
You can continue talking.
Okay.
I'll butt in whenever I find it.
Okay, the last one on the Fetch Quest is Project Scarlet Next Xbox, already being used by Microsoft's Phil Spencer. That's from Jenny Latta at Siliconera. That's cool.
Yeah, I want one in my home.
I wish I was Phil Spencer.
Hey, yo, girl, Phil Spencer, you want to hook me up with a Scarlet?
Moving on to the third-party quest log. We have two major stories, which are basically both about award shows, or game conferences, I should say, which is the Game Awards, and we'll also talk about E3 after that. So first off, the Game Awards has around 10 new games and projects to reveal. This is a story from Eric Van Allen at US Gamer. So there's a Reddit AMA with Jeff Keighley where he did confirm there's going to be 10 new games at the show. And he specifically said those are games that have not been shown off in any capacity before. Like, we have not seen anything of them. It hasn't been leaked before, so I think there's going to be some pretty surprising announcements. He also mentioned, too, that there's more new content than there is games we have seen before, which that seems new. It seems like mostly was updates on games we had before last year than it was new reveals. So that's exciting to see. Again, he already mentioned that Resident Evil 3 is not going to be at the show. So I read.
By the way, you're totally right about Ghost of Tsushima. It was E3 2018. God, that was so long ago.
We're due for an update. The full Ask Me Anything on Reddit had some more interesting things I wanted to point out as well.
Yeah.
Someone asked him about the future of the Game Awards, and Keeley said that he was considering expanding the awards, maybe doing something for 2020 with the 50th anniversary of the games, and maybe also like delving at awards for Game of the Decade and not just Game of the Year as we get to like the end of the next decade. Probably, definitely not next week, but you know, things will change. He's also asked later on about changing venues, and he was interested in pursuing an Olympic model where like each year it's at a different location, like having Game Awards in Tokyo or something like that. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. The theme this year is Games Come Alive. Which
has it always had a theme every year?
I don't know, but he says that the theme this time basically means that games are now a major part of our culture. They've come alive within our culture. It's not a niche nerdy thing, and you know, here we are. We're huge.
No, what it actually is the whole theater is a VR headset, and they come alive, and everyone has to shoot everyone.
The next Game Awards is the new Ryan Reynolds movie they just showed off, where he's a video game NPC. It comes alive. That's what's going to happen in the real world.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. Jeff Keighley was asked about a documentary showing the behind-the-scenes of the Game Awards, but he considers the process too intense and stressful for the cameras to be around all the time. So
he just says a lot of bad words backstage.
Yeah. Also, like, imagine saying, hey, we want to have your game debut at our show. Oh, we're going to have cameras surrounding our conversation of us talking about Half-Life Alyx, like, showing up, and that now leaks months in advance of the trailer coming out. So I think there's going to... Yeah, they wouldn't want to risk that. What was the last one here? When asked about the future of the Game Awards, Jeff had some interesting announcements. In terms of where the show goes in the future, next week we'll be announcing a big new concept. That is the future of where I want to take not only the Game Awards, but events like E3 too. It's a project that's going to take a few years to realize, but it's one of my next big challenges to take on. It's a brand new concept and something I'm really passionate about. It's going to involve all of you around the world. I can't wait to share it. That's one that surprised me. I haven't seen that reported anywhere. But that was just like in the AMA, buried pretty deep in there. Have you guys seen that anywhere? It's like a pretty big announcement.
I mean, I don't know if it had anything to do with him, but there was the leaked presentation deck about how executives wanted to change E3 this coming year. I don't know if that has anything to do with his plans that he's talking about, but no. I'm really interested to see what he says.
Yeah, because he's definitely done a lot for the Game Awards. And I'm curious what he would do something for like an E3-like show. So that's kind of cool.
I wonder if there'll be like more of an official presence. You know, like what was the opening night live that happened this year that he put on for the first time for what conference was that? Was that
Tokyo Game Show?
Was that TGS?
I think it was TGS. Yeah, that's where they showed the Death Stranding footage.
Yeah. So maybe it's like making more of an official thing around E3. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
like having official award shows and things like that too. I don't know. Dude loves his awards.
Stuff. He does. So, I think one of the big important things I mentioned at the beginning there, though, is the 10 new games. Do you guys have any ideas of what those games could be?
Well, interesting that it says games and projects. I don't know what projects could mean. Unless it's like... there was the...
Project Gotham Racing, maybe?
That's what it is. Project Gotham Racing 7 or whatever they're on now. Unless it's things like the Hellblade developer talking about their mental health initiative that they're working on over the next few years. Maybe that's what they mean by a project.
Possibly, yeah. I have no idea.
Or whether it's just like project could be DLC, even if it's not a game.
project's weird to put in there because, like, I think, well, what would Nintendo do as a project? I'm like, well, announce the premium Nintendo Switch Online service, which would be really odd to announce that at the Game Awards. Like, what could that be? I have no clue.
Well, last year they announced Joker, right? The DLC character for Smash Bros. Maybe we see like whoever the fifth fighter is, or maybe they announce however many fighters will be in the next pass, or who's going to be in that.
Nintendo's going to do big things for sure. I would be not very surprised to see Breath of the Wild 2 there.
Or
I wouldn't be surprised.
8 of the 10 projects are fan-made Warframe trailers.
Oh.
Yep.
They will have a special announcment at the Game Awards. Warframe tweeted about that. So
Warframe and Game Awards go together like lamb and tuna fish.
Here's a good one, because I got this brought up to me maybe about a month ago when Bluepoint was making a bunch of weird tweets about remaking. I think it was like Legend of Dragoon and Demon Souls is what they seemed to be hinting at. Mm-hmm. So maybe we're getting a Bluepoint remaster, something crazy like that.
Do you think, because they've tied themselves so much now to like their big project being on PS5 with that Wired article, do you think that we're going to see an announcement about next-gen Bluepoint at a Game Awards?
Maybe a big announcement.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine how good a PS5 level Demon Souls would look?
Oh, it would look insane.
Oh God, I want it.
I'm just trying to think because I don't know.
Sony would want the
It's hard to know who's doing stuff.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. I think when it comes to like seeing PS5 gameplay footage for the first time, Sony would want to hold that off for when they show off the PS5. But now that you say it, saying, "Hey, Bluepoint working on Demon Souls," and it's just the title. Like how they did with like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. They just said Shadows Die Twice, and they just
that was
left
Game Awards, wasn't it?
That was Game Awards, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody thought it was Tenchu or Bloodborne 2. Everyone's like, it's got to be. It looks like a trick weapon. And then everyone's like, no, look at the symbols. Yep. It's Tenchu. Like, and
it was
fuck
way
you
different
all.
than
It's
all
Sekiro.
That. Well, not by Tenchu, but way different than Bloodborne 2 would be. I can see them doing like hey, this game will be a PS5 game, but we're not showing it to you yet. They were going to hold that off.
CG trailer and the title screen. Yeah, you could do that.
You know what I would love? I would love like a first real look at the George Railroad Martin game. What is that called?
Elden Ring?
Yes.
Elden Ring, yes. What if we see that there?
So, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. So, Jeff Keighley, the AMA, was pretty good about, like, saying, hey, like, nothing's been leaked, or, like, Resident Evil 3 won't be there. Like, he called some things out. It's, like, not going to be there. But tons of people were asking him about Elden Ring. Tons of people. Never once did he mention or respond to anything Elden Ring related.
No, we're about to get some Elden Ring.
But I'm crossing my fingers for Breath of the Wild 2. I think there might be something. If it's coming in 2020, what a bombshell to drop at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild has a history at the Game Awards. They've shown off in 2015, or sorry, in 2014, when they were still maintaining that Breath of the Wild would be coming out in 2015. Didn't even have a name yet. They showed off footage there. They showed off a new trailer at the Game Awards in 2016 before it came out. Next year they had the DLC coming out tonight at the Game Awards announcement. So I feel like if it is coming out next year, which I've talked about, I think you agree with me on that too, Chad. There's a good chance it could come out next year.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not a Game Awards reveal for that? It's just not even anything huge. Just 2020. That's all they have to do. It could be the cheapest trailer ever made. Breath of the Wild, and like scribble in 2 because they used the same logo, and then just say 2020, and people would lose their shit. So it's possible.
Yep.
I mean, with that history, that's just I would a safe bet. Like,
yeah.
What if we just get all the Nintendo reveals? Metroid Prime Trilogy, Metroid Prime 4,
but I don't think that game's 4 years away. Or
get Bayonetta
ridiculous.
3. They also announced Bayonetta 4 at the same time.
I'm so mad. I love Bayonetta, and they had the audacity to announce that game and release another game before they. I'm like, all right, y'all, I can't stand you.
Yep. Before we leave Game Awards,
yeah.
Unless you've got something else to say about Game Awards.
I was just going to say Bayonetta in that case. They've said it's still going well with the update. Someone after Metroid Prime 4 got delayed, people were asking the creator of Bayonetta, like, hey, what's going on with Bayonetta 3? He's like, it's going great. Development's going awesome. So as far as we know, they're still chipping away.
Before we leave Game Awards, I want to mention that Game Awards falls during game night this week. It's happening at the same time. So instead of playing games, if you are a patron, patreon.com/RespawnAimFire, we're going to figure out a way to watch live with everyone. So maybe we're all in the same Twitch chat. Maybe we're all in a Skype and we're all watching it together. Maybe we can figure out something with Mixer now that you have an Xbox. I don't know. But stay tuned to our Patreon to figure out how you can watch with us and have fun.
So, the next thing here is a report from the PR firm Evolve. Alex Calvin, a PC Game Insider, wrote an article about it. The article basically talks about how much coverage has been at E3 and how it's dipped in the past few years. The gist of it is essentially that from 2016 to 2017, numbers are going up, 600 increase from 2016 to 2017, but then it dropped by 400 in 2018. It dropped by 1,400 in 2018, and has only increased a little bit since. So basically the coverage of articles at E3 has dropped. There hasn't been as much to talk about, maybe. There's a lot of reasons why this could be. I thought this was interesting, kind of in light of a lot of the conversation about E3 losing its relevance. And this is kind of like the data point that says, yeah, the relevance is slipping because people aren't talking about what's happening at those award shows as often. They specifically cite it's been down 40% since 2017. Some more information in the report I thought was interesting, just to kind of throw in there. YouTube and Twitch creators used to be the majority of influencers that were present, so not like IGN, but like individual personalities who make content online. Mm-hmm. YouTube and Twitch were the primary types of influencers present. 2019, Mixer took over, but not only took over, they doubled Twitch's representation, which is pretty huge. I'm curious how much of that. When did Ninja get brought on to Mixer?
Oh, that was
like
after E3? 3 months ago or something.
Yeah, it was afterwards.
Okay, so this is even before that. So imagine now what that's looking like. I thought that was interesting. The three most covered games of E3 2019 were Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Watch Dogs Legions. 1 and 2 didn't surprise me. Surprised Watch Dogs Legions was the third most covered game.
Really? You remember that?
Yeah.
E3, it was big at E3. That was like the only other game that had a decent showing.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So then the coverage drop-off is more prominent with traditional media than with influencers, although both are technically down. Curious what you guys' thoughts on this are. If you have any ideas why it could be happening.
I don't know whether this has any direct causation, but there is a correlation that the biggest dip, where it dropped by almost half in 2018, was the first year that they allowed the public to attend. And it might have been like media saying, oh my God, this place is already a clusterfuck. If you're going to allow in 10,000 people from the public to be in this as well, we're just going to cover it from afar.
That's interesting.
Because I know that's always been a conversation, is just how much of a headache actually being at E3 and how you never actually get to play more than like 2 games a day because of how overcrowded it is. So maybe that's part of the problem.
I think another part of it too, and it doesn't entirely explain this. This is a huge drop off. Is that we're kind of at that end of the cycle now, where even Sony's like, "No, they don't got anything to talk about. We're not even going to show up." So there's just been less things to discuss. The fact that 2019 was bigger than 2018 and Sony wasn't even present this year, this probably would have been an even bigger increase if Sony decided to say anything at E3 at all. So I think a big part of it is it's like when console sales were dropping, or not consoles dropping. I guess it was console sales were dropping towards the end of the 360 PS3 life cycle, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's because consoles are doomed and they're dead." It's like, no, it's the end of the cycle. Like, wait until there's next gen content that people can talk about in regards to E3. That will develop the headlines. There'll be stories worth talking about. I think it kind of comes down to there's just not a lot to really discuss.
Yep, 100%.
Yep. And looking at this, it was said written content's down 40%. Yeah, that's just more influencers and people just doing video, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I know overall more video is down, but like who reads anymore? How do you read? Come on now.
Right? Where are you getting this information about written content? I don't see that on a video anywhere playing right now.
The wife Danny DeVito once said that you can't get what you get from a book from a television faster. What was the line? Which you get
There's
from
nothing you can get from
There's nothing you can get from a book you can't get from a TV faster. That's the line.
Yep.
And it's true today. Thanks, Anna DeVito. Wise words.
But yeah, no, I think these numbers, I think it's true. I think E3 is less and less relevant. But next year, with new consoles coming out, it's going to jump for just based on the new console cycle, and then it'll go back to where it is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like for real, like you just listen to an influencer, watch a YouTube video, and they'll break it down for you. You don't have to watch it anymore. You just like, where's the shit I care about? I watched 3 videos. I'm done with E3.
Yep. And these numbers are definitely going to grow by at least 2 because we'll be there next year. So.
I think another big part of it too is that, I mean, obviously Nintendo is switched off with of doing presentations at E3. They do Nintendo Directs now, but Microsoft is now spreading their announcements across the year. Sony's now going to be spreading their announcements across the year with their own state of play events. There's just more announcements happening throughout the year that you don't have to have this concentration of media that could distract from, from certain games you want to highlight because they're putting it all into 1 week.
Yep.
So, Jeff Keighley, save us now.
Woo! That guy's name is spelled so weird, but it's cool. Geoff Keighley.
Keighley. I like that.
Moving on to the Microsoft Quest log. First article here is Control coming to Xbox Game Pass? It's complicated. Nicole Carpenter, Polygon. So, this is funny. So, during a charity stream with Extra Life, Phil Spencer let it slip that he was, quote, glad to see Control get added to Game Pass, considering it didn't reach enough people. End quote on Control, by the way. He didn't say, I'm paraphrasing at the end there. So, he did mention Game Pass, and then Remedy and Microsoft both released statements debunking the claim and saying that there are no plans to announce Control on being added to Game Pass. They both said, quote, at this time.
Yep. This is 100%. We've had conversations. It's coming to Game Pass probably in like early 2020, but we're coming up on Game Awards. It's nominated. We want to sell copies of it. People are wanting to play it at the end of the year, and Game Awards sales happening on all the platforms all the time. So they want people to buy it as much as they can before they let everyone know, by the way, it's coming for free on Game Pass very soon. That's exactly what this is.
It also could be that they're going to announce at the Game Awards, and Microsoft just gave a bunch of money to Remedy to let it happen.
And there you go. That could be a thing.
They want to save it for that too.
Although Jeff Keighley said nothing's leaked yet, so
that's true. That's true. I actually don't know if the story was after that. This might have been after. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to believe somebody, I think Phil Spencer's the guy to take his word for what's going to happen on the Xbox.
Yeah, I know.
I would think that it would be cool for Game Awards to have, I'm sure Control a winner award or whatever, show maybe a trailer for DLC, and then it's coming to Game Pass. So, like, play this game that just won this award and has DLC, go buy the DLC. I can see there being a whole big marketing thing here.
They do have some kind of DLC coming out this month, too. I don't remember what it is, but they have like a wave rollout of like 3 things.
Yeah.
It was after by like a day. So it could
it could be.
Could be. Interesting. And then also, change of narrative for rumors on Scarlet. Sources say that this is from Jason Schreier Kotaku, so his sources means a little bit more than most people. Sources: Microsoft is still planning a cheaper diskless next-gen Xbox. Like the previous rumors have suggested, Lockhart will be a successor to the Xbox One S, and Anaconda, the more powerful console, will follow the Xbox One X. Both will still feature the same improved SSDs. Lockhart will be digital only, and they're shooting for 1440p game output compared to 4K on the Anaconda, but both will run at 60 frames per second. So this has been kind of flip-flopping back and forth in terms of rumors. It's happening, it's not happening. Jason Schreier is now saying it is happening.
That's interesting that I have 3 thoughts. 1, anytime I see the word diskless, I still in my head say, don't say dickless, don't say dickless. 2, interesting that they're only shooting for 1440p. That's like 2K. And like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, which will be, at the time, last-gen consoles, can already do better than that. So it's like not much upgraded over the Xbox One S Digital Edition, aside from 60 frames for everything. And then I'm thinking, number 3, what price does this come in at? If it's just slightly more powerful than an Xbox One S, but it has the SSD in it, I don't know. I'm excited to see that it's still there, but I have no idea where this is going to fall in terms of like the lineup. Like, especially if they keep Xbox One X around, and then is this cheaper or more expensive than the X? And is that, I don't know.
I'm thinking if this is a cheaper version, maybe it's going to be $499 for the Anaconda, $299, like it kind of is now, price $200 difference. 1440p would be an improvement if you consider the graphics are going to be increasing as well. So it'll be better quality graphics and textures and all that kind of stuff, and at a higher resolution. So that would be a good enough bump, where it actually probably is more powerful than a Xbox One X. Actually, it would have to be. So it definitely would be a step up. I'm just curious how they justify this and say, if games have to run on both, which one do they push as like the primary Xbox? Is that the Anaconda, the 4K one, or is that like the premium version and this is a cheaper option, or is that the main option and the Anaconda is just like a premium upgrade you can get if you want to, but everything's still going to work right there? I'm curious how that's going to play out.
I mean, if we look now,
but it makes sense.
I mean, everything runs on everything, but the X is like, it always has its like improved, like enhanced for X. Like, I think the expensive ones will be what they push for. Is that native? Because native 2K would be better what they do now. Because I might be wrong, but don't they just upscale on the lower model machines now to 4K?
The Xbox One S does not do 4K at all.
Yeah. Well, what about the Pro? PS4 Pro?
PS4 Pro, on some things it's native, some things it's checkerboarded.
Interesting.
Usually it's like indie titles or things that are not as demanding that are native 4K.
Yeah. I'm with. It's just going to be a cheaper option for people who don't feel that they need the full big box. I feel like you shouldn't do this at launch. I feel this is like a year and a half later thing.
Yeah.
Just to not make it confusing. But
maybe in lieu of a Slim, this is something you come out with.
Yeah, like this is your Slim, is the discless, a little bit less powerful, but it's still better than anything we've had before. Besides, our main box. But I'm not a marketing dude. What do I know?
When thinking about and when you're looking back at how game consoles have been revealed in the past, it'll be like, hey, look at these new graphics. Look how gorgeous they look because of the powerful new console. Are they going to be like, hey, here's these graphics, look really good, but wait, here's another thing that look even better? Are they going to go like up, or are they going to show the Anaconda off first and then say, oh, and we have a shittier version of this that you can also get too? And
it'll
just
be like
gloss
X,
over it.
where they only everything is shown on Xbox One X. They don't show anything on the S.
Yep.
Not at all. They're like,
but
just
then,
look at this.
When they revealed both of those, though, like everyone thought, you're going to reveal both of these, even though the X is not coming for another year and a half. You're still going to reveal this, but then the S sold like crazy right after that.
Sold really good, yeah.
Yeah. Like, why would people buy... Everyone's thinking, why would people buy this knowing there's a better one coming next year? Like, they don't care. They wanted the S. So, there's definitely a reason and a market for it, but I don't know how they're going to fit it in.
Well, here's what I can tell you. When I was younger, I worked at GameStop. 90% of your customers is, my kid bitched and wanted a new thing. That's cheaper. Let me get that. 90% of your you get your hardcore people who are like, I want this. I pre-ordered it, and then mom's like, he wants to play 2K. What's cheapest for me to let him play 2K? And that is most of your consumer base. So,
well, we have a box right here that will play things in 2K. That's crazy.
She's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Give me it because it's cheaper. Like straight up.
I like that this is also discless. I would get that one just because it's discless. I like that idea a lot. I'm liking my Xbox doesn't have a disk drive. This is in my stupid little head. It feels like it's the future now because I have a console that doesn't have a disc to put it in. It's kind of exciting for me in a really like nerdy, dorky way.
I had a little bit of a heart attack whenever I was like, my 4K Blu-ray collection. What do I do now? But PS4 or PS5 will still have a disc drive. I'm sure they won't make the idiot decision to cut Blu-ray player out of that. So
they're talking about doing two models too, and this might be a really smart way. So like, it's really tough for these companies to just remove a disc from their consoles, even though they know they'll make more money by doing digital only, because they have those partnerships and relationships with GameStop. It'd be a really good way of saying it wasn't our choice if you just put out two consoles, one doesn't have it, one does have the disc drive, and let the market decide for you. And they know a lot of people might not even go for the disc option. I mean, maybe, who knows? But it'd be a really funny way to say, like, hey, the discless sold more, so next time around we're just going to go and screw discs. We're not going to do anymore. Sorry, GameStop. We don't have to support you anymore. It's up to the market. It wasn't Sony's choice. It wasn't Microsoft's choice. It was the market.
Can I tell you also, I had Anthem on physical because it was $5 on Amazon Prime. So I had it physical and I put it in, and the first time I booted up my PS4 with it in there, and I heard the disc spinning around inside of it, I was like, oh, I haven't heard that noise in a long time. I hate it. Get it out of there. So maybe digital's the way to go.
Yeah. Do you know what console did not have any discs in it?
The Atari VCS.
ColecoVision.
That. But also the Vita, which is apparently no longer a business that Sony wants to be involved in officially now. This is from Logan Moore at DualShockers. PlayStation's Jim Ryan says Vita is a business that we're no longer in. He said it was brilliant in many ways, but the actual gaming experience was great, but it's something they just don't want to pursue any longer. So we've kind of known this is the case.
Yeah.
And now it's official. It's officially the case. Don't expect a Vita 2.
No, they've got their hands full with next gen and with PSVR, and they already announced years ago first party support dropped, and then they stopped manufacturing them earlier this year too. It's like, it's not going to be a thing. And if anyone was hoping that PlayStation 5 would have like a Switch type model variant, no, that's not going to happen.
It'd be so cool, but it's not going to happen.
Nope.
I would love it. Yeah, sad days. No other thoughts on that? You guys ready to move on to the main quest?
Oh, I'm Betty Spaghetti ready.
You Betty Spaghetti? All right. So our main quest is the most important stories of 2019. Adam, Chad, and myself have each brought what we think are the most important stories, and we're going to just share 2 each of what we thought were impactful for the industry going forward, or whatever we deem is important. Adam, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I will, because I don't want anyone to take mine. I guess for me, I'll go to this one, right? One of the most interesting things this year was, I guess you would call it the live streaming wars. Not Netflix and Disney Plus and all that, of course. But, Mixer coming in strong.
Yeah.
Going after Ninja, going after Shroud. Like, Twitch's biggest, Dr. Disrespect constantly getting in trouble. And then I think he just got a TV show the other day I saw.
I was listening to Games Daily today, and I heard that on. I was like, what?
Like, Facebook gaming's a thing that people watch. Somehow those, it's Facebook, so they just push it in front of you without you wanting to watch it or not. But
no one's actually even watching it.
Yeah, no, it's just Russian bots watching it. But no, it's just, I would never have thought in a million years that, like, there would be, like, free agent players in live streaming competition where, like, we're signing your dude, we're signing your guy, we're taking this lady over here. Like, I know it's been a thing for a while, but it's crazy to see how serious that these people are. I mean, after, like, his Ninja's whole thing with Drake, I'm like, this being a streamer can be a mainstream thing. So, yeah, Microsoft dumping that money on those guys to, like, make their brand a thing. And like we said in the E3 trailer, or in the E3 news part, where Mixer, like, doubled Twitch's, like, output on E3 stuff, like, it's crazy to see. I think it's just real cool.
I agree.
It's a surprise,
and I'm
also... Go ahead, Chad.
Nope, you're going.
Okay. I was surprising to me because I'm on YouTube all the time, and YouTube's like my main video platform. So I don't even really think about Twitch and Mixer. So when all this was coming up, I'm like, man, like, I guess I didn't realize how big these platforms were. They're gigantic now.
Huge. Yeah, that's definitely wherever that takes us in the next. Here's a question: does PlayStation 5 have integrated Mixer support?
Even though it's Microsoft, yeah.
Even though it's a Microsoft service.
I think they'll try to stick with Twitch.
And that's all they're going to... I mean, all the biggest streamers are going over to Mixer right now. You think they're going to abandon support for that?
Well, I mean, because they don't want to abandon support. You can just bypass and do it yourself. I think they'll just expect them. They know how to do that, so they're not going to block anybody. Because remember, PS4 launched with Ustream support, I believe, is what the...
That's right, yeah. Twitch came later.
Was. Yeah, so I think they'll allow you to do it, but like with Xbox, you just press a button and you're streaming on Mixer. I don't think PlayStation's going to do anything like that, of course, but yeah, that's also a crazy thing. Just press a button and you can stream whatever you're playing to the world. Like it's they build it into the consoles now.
Insane. I've got a story that I think is maybe the top story of the decade, or at least the generation. And I think that's the Stadia reveal at GDC, when they detailed what Stadia the service was, the game streaming, the fact that it's all of these really powerful computers switching between things seamlessly, Google Assistant integration, all of these things that didn't actually end up becoming real, but would go on to define, I think, what the next 5 years of gaming will end up being, trying to create that experience. I think that is huge, and that's the biggest jump I think we've seen in gaming technology in a very long time.
The conversation throughout the year has also been just dominant.
Yeah, on the flip side, another top story is Stadia stumbles and falls to his death. But no, I think that reveal at GDC was huge. I remember coming out of that, like we were talking about on our recap of it, was like, this is the equivalent of Apple's iPhone announcement. Like, there are things before Stadia and there are things after Stadia. That's what they said about Anthem too.
Except the payoff.
Yeah.
the delivery, yeah. But yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
You know the crazy thing? I might have interrupt you.
No, go for it.
Because I know Stadia had a tough launch, whatever. It is really cool technology, and the fact that it actually sort of works is crazy. But like for me, I got into xCloud stuff, and it works perfectly at the house. Of course, I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm not like running around with my 5G or whatever. But like I've seen it work, so I'm with you. I would love to see the next like 2 or 3 years where it's at. Because even when VR launched, I'm not a VR dude myself, but where VR was when it launched and where VR is now, but I think streaming will be have bigger leaps than that. Like I really think streaming could be like the next big thing.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see when games don't have to be tied to a console, and you can make a game that's just for xCloud or just for Stadia, and it utilizes being on a cloud infrastructure. Like what kind of unique game experiences that we aren't thinking of could happen because of this? Interesting to.
You have something like Group Bandersnatch. Everyone can make choices on Netflix now.
I'm just thinking like you get that cheaper Xbox or the cheaper PlayStation model, and it doesn't matter because you can get the extra power to make it, like just stream the extra processing power, and it doesn't matter what box you have. It's going to look great because they're doing it on the back end for you. So like your hardware doesn't even matter as much. Like because if it works on my phone, clearly you could put it through a machine that has a little bit of power and make it even better. Again, I'm no streaming genius. I'm not a marketing guy or a streaming guy, but I think that's a really cool idea that I think it could be going.
My first story is just that Sony and Microsoft are talking next gen officially. Hasn't been a lot, but it's happening. It's real. We now know that 2020 is going to be the year of next gen, and that's been exciting. It's weird because Xbox One was announced within 6 months of its release date. PS4 was announced, I think, within like 7 or 8 months, and we've basically known about these consoles in an official capacity for well over a year before their launch. So it's kind of interesting, and it's kind of put this like it's been like a shadow over the year. I feel like everything this year is in the context of, oh, but like next gen consoles are coming out next year,
right?
Like, oh, they showed up Cyberpunk 2077. That's really cool. Is that going to have a version that's going to be on the PS5 and the Xbox too? Like everything, I feel like it's considered for next gen. Everyone's thinking about next gen, so that's definitely I think one of the big stories of the year.
Yep, for sure. 7 years ago.
Adam.
Oh, all right. I'm going to go this one. This is kind of a broad. You guys can take this however you want, but Activision Blizzard, I guess just on the entire year.
yeah, kind of.
That's been a crazy one. You start with all those, they're like best profits ever. We're laying off 800 people. All right, that's a thing. And then you have the whole Hong Kong thing, and then BlizzCon happens, and everyone's like, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, we don't care about anything else. Like, Blizzard's wild. I'm just letting y'all know. Activision Blizzard is wild. That's just a January to December news cycle with just those two words that you can look on, and I don't think I've ever seen so many ups and downs and crazy things happen with one company in a year.
Yep,
especially with the whole Blitzchung situation that transcended being video game news. That was news, period. Didn't even like video games for that. It's impactful. It's a big deal.
So my second one was going to be Blizzard and Blitzchung, but we've covered that. So I've got some backups. And I think Apex Legends. Legends dropping out of nowhere, shadow drop, just like, hey, this is a thing now, and it explodes, catches on the first day. And I think why it's so significant is because, one, it's a quality game, made by Respawn, really, really great systems, introduce a lot of cool things. Everyone's like, the pinging system. It's actually really cool. But it also wiped PUBG off the map. PUBG was always like, oh, I played this instead of Fortnite because it's more realistic. And Apex is like, cool, we're going to do that but better now, and it's more realistic. And so I think that was a huge thing. It showed that there is room for another company to come and just... What used to be... 2 years ago, PUBG was the biggest fucking thing on the planet. And people were like... Microsoft is like, we've got it coming exclusively to Xbox, and that was like the big story that year. And now it's just like, oh yeah, people used to play that. That's crazy. Apex Legends came and eat their lunch.
It's a big deal.
Yep. And the fact that it had legs, like, that people are still playing it like crazy.
It grew so fast, too. It got, like, was it 25, 50 million players in a week or something ridiculous like that?
That first month was nonsense for Apex. It was insane. It's kind of crazy still that even if it falls off, all three of those battle royals, Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, they still like crush everything else. Even a low point for PUBG crushes everything else. A low point for Fortnite, and like you said, for them to out of nowhere, here's another one of them, and it's right there with the rest of those guys. I'm with you. Apex is a big deal, and the fact that genre can exist as it still does is. What are we going on? 3 years of battle royal games at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
and
it's still bigger. It's a genre it's in and of itself now. It's a thing. It's legitimate. For my last story,
too legit to quit.
For my last story, this might seem small right now, but I do think this is going to be a big deal looking back. Is some of the stuff that Microsoft has done with selling consoles. Xbox All Access is now like an official program. It's not like a trial they're doing. It's an official program where you can get a console on a subscription and then upgrade next year to the new console. That's a whole new way of buying consoles that I think is going to really possibly change the landscape. But also, discless consoles. Microsoft did it first.
Don't say discless.
I think that's a really big deal. And I think looking back, we'll see this is kind of like the first console that really dipped its toes in going in that direction, and it didn't dip its toes. It just 100% did it. So I think that's a big deal, and I think that they made some big moves in terms of selling hardware, representing hardware that we'll see the fruits of in the next decade and see how it changes the market in the next decade. But I'm also a big digital person, so that's kind of how I feel about it, because I'm a big digital person.
Yeah, digital only future. Power goes out and I'm fucked.
I wanted to run through just stories we didn't talk about, not to like have conversations about them, but just to like list it off, because this year is insane. Mm-hmm. There was so much that happened this year. So just the things we didn't talk about: Metroid Prime 4 getting rebooted, the Sonic character model backlash. You have Oculus Quest, Death Stranding's release date, Kaz Hirai retires, PSN you can change your username, that's now a thing. Valve releases their own headset. Half-Life returns. Final Fantasy VII remake is like official and happening.
Coming out in a few months.
Sequel. Coming out in a few months, yeah. Mm-hmm. Nintendo Switch Lite. There's the Joy-Con drift issue. PS4 crosses 100 million units in sales, and then 450 million units across all four PlayStation models, and they get the Guinness Book of World Records for the most consoles sold. Holy shit. Sony and Microsoft partner on cloud infrastructure. There's going to be a Rabbids game that's specific to China. That's a big deal. We haven't seen a game made for a specific market. PlayStation Productions, they're taking movies seriously. And on that note, Detective Pikachu, kind of the first really big, successful, critically acclaimed video game movie. That's an awesome deal. Sony doesn't want to leave the house. They don't want to go to award shows anymore. They don't want to conferences anymore. They've just been staying in. That was interesting. Apple Arcade's launch.
Apple Arcade's launch, right?
Sony officially supporting crossplay, and Fallout first.
I'm going to add one more. The fuck did Sean Layden go?
Oh, I have that on here. I just didn't. I missed it. Yeah, Sean Layden.
I just tweeted like 2 hours ago. I was like, I haven't forgotten that no one's mentioned anything about Sean Layden in 3 months.
Yeah, It's been since September. It's crazy.
I got another one real quick. Epic Store versus Steam. I know that kind of started end of last year.
Yeah.
But like Ubisoft exclusive to Epic, and then Microsoft and EA are like, we're going back to Steam? Mm-hmm. Like, what? I mean, I'm not really a PC dude, but like that's when Microsoft's like, yo, Halo on Steam, have fun. When EA's like, everything on Steam, we're done with Origin, have fun with this. Like, and then Epic's just buying people up, and people like that's crazy. That because Steam was the only ones who had the ball in the court, and then everyone's like, I guess we'll have our stores, and everyone's like, pick a dog in the fight, I guess.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. The landscape is changing. Well, all right. It's a time where Chad and I shut the fuck up because we're so fucking humble. Adam, you have a segment or something you want to talk about. If you don't, it's fine. You were uncertain before, but if you have something, the floor is yours.
Oh, God, what did we bring up before we started recording? Because now I feel like an idiot because I'm unprepared. Because I did have something I wanted to. Yes, barf. First of all, favorite thing you guys do. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess, how do you guys... Well, I can have an idea. What is your plans for that in the future? Like, is there certain things that, like, you guys, like, one of you specifically wants to cover that you really hope gets brought up? Like, how are you guys want to take that forward? Because, again, that's my favorite thing, dude. I love, hear you guys talk about Undertale and just, like, everything. It's awesome. So, like, what's your process for that? And, like, what do you, each individually, specifically, want to do next with that, I guess?
I love it. It is one of my... Sorry, I want to gush about it a little bit. It all started as like, hey, let's play old games that we should have played that we never played before. And so I think Super Metroid was the first one, or something like that. But it's an excuse for me to play things that I've always wanted to play, that I was like, oh, one day I'll find the time to. But now I'm like, I have 30 days, I have to play this. And in all of that, Undertale's the only one that I never actually made it around to, even though I beat it previously. But I love it because it forces me to do that, and I've experienced so many new things. Like, I discovered that I loved Metroidvanias a lot more than I thought I did because of Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I was like, holy shit, I've missed out on this entire franchise of Symphony of the Night and this entire genre my whole life because I didn't realize that these games were great and I should have given them a chance. So I love that it's there, but it started before we had Patreon and before we had like the size and as vocal of a community that we have right now. It's just like, what games do we want to play? And let's go back and forth. Well, first it was like, let's decide on some things together. And then it's like, let's just trade months and I'll pick a game and you pick a game. And then it was when we were planning out our Patreon, we're like, what do we give people to support us? How do we make our content more tailored to them? So let's give them a chance to vote. So right now the current system is for 2 months at a time. So I get 2 months and then Holden gets 2 months. We put out a poll and we say, hey, here are some games I would like to be on part of this. I want you guys to choose it. And the reason we did that is because, one, it ends up being a game that we want to play rather than just saying you guys get full control over what we play. Because if they chose something that's really, really awful, like I would never want to play Fire Emblem.
Or if they made us play Kingdom Hearts 2.
Or Kingdom Hearts 2, yeah. So it's something that we want to play. But then we also give our community a reason to be invested. It's not like, oh, God, I don't give a shit about blank game, but they're playing it, and I guess I have to listen to it anyway. But it's like, oh, no, I had input in this. I want to play this along with them, so I get to vote on that and make that happen. And then, Holden, things changed up a little bit this winter. You want to talk about, like, we were going to do Game of the Year nominations and things, and then that didn't work out?
So we were thinking about doing it so that November and December were kind of games dedicated to things we hadn't played throughout the year that we want to consider for Game of the Year. But what ended up happening there is that if I wanted to play Death Stranding for the end of the year and we put that in the poll and it didn't get chosen, I feel like I might have missed out on a game that I would have made my Game of the Year because I had to finish one game by the end of the month. So what we ended up doing was having Bits of Barf, which had been recommended to us by I believe it was Dustin Eucalyptus Hill that recommended that to us. I think that was his idea.
I think it was Alex, but then Dustin also reinforced it.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. We're just going to give credit where credit's due.
We'll give credit to both of them. And we decided to do a small game for November, December. That way we could just focus on those really big games we did want to consider for the game of the year and not be bogged down by having Death Stranding mandatory, beat it by the beginning of December or the end of December, however it played out. So that worked out well. We did Undertale, obviously, and we're doing Donut County. In terms of what we're going to do next year, we haven't really talked too much about what we want to do next year. I had some ideas that I hadn't gotten a chance to share with Chad yet. But I do think since next year's kind of the end of the generation, personally, I would like to focus on games that I haven't gotten a chance to play this generation that I would like to just to play. Like I have Hitman 2. I have not played Hitman 2 yet, and I really, really want to play that because I like Hitman 1 a lot. Hitman Season 1. So I'd like to kind of focus on that. I want to put Majora's Mask in there too. Just I really want to play Majora's Mask. I have not. I need an excuse to beat that game. One thing for me too, though, that's I think really gonna that happened to me that's gonna change game Barf, I think, is that I have an Xbox now, which means that I can now play games that are on Xbox.
And you now have a lot of Xbox games that you didn't have access to before.
Exactly. So it's a huge collection now. There's so much on Game Pass. Holy shit. Like that's I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the games that we play next year for Barf are in Game Pass. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm excited about that. But for me, and I brought this up to Chad, Chad rightfully shut me down on this one. Rightfully. He's totally in the right here. You know where I'm going with this. So Dallas, who texted me about doing Mass Effect 3 for Barf, because I never played Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games ever, and I have access to 1 on Game Pass, and I just bought 2 and 3 recently. I've been playing that, and I'm like, why don't we just do... I'm like, Dallas, we won't just do 3. Well, let me ask Chad about doing the entire trilogy for Barf. And yeah, exactly, Adam. So we're not going to do that, because as Chad put it out, it's too much game for even 2 months. But maybe we'll do Mass Effect 3, and kind of going into some 360 games that maybe I haven't got a chance to go back to in terms of games that I'm going to put out there. I think that's where I'm at right now for Barf. I want to take it. Do you have any ideas?
I think ultimately what we wanted to do and what we wanted to continue to develop is, and this goes across not just Barf, but like the rest of our podcast and something like that too. Like we love that we get enjoyment out of it, but I think for me, and I think I speak for Holden too, like what really makes it worth it is when we do see that other people are enjoying it as well. So when we get people writing in saying, oh my gosh, I played Nier Automata with you, and this is my 3-paragraph review of it, or I'm so glad to hear that you guys are playing Undertale, and this is amazing, I can't wait to see what your reactions are. Like when other people are excited about the games that we're playing, that's what makes it worth it for me. So the more input and the more feedback we can get from our community, I think that's going to guide us to where we go next. That sounded like a very PR answer.
No, it was good.
Chad is the head of HR at Respawning Fire. Or PR, Respawning Fire.
And HR, which is great because I'm the one who's going to be doing the sexual misconduct to Holden. And I'm like, well, bring it to HR, see what they say.
Chad's like, Holden, why didn't you bring this up sooner? Why didn't you report it to HR sooner?
But yeah, I just wanted to make y'all tell me what you guys were doing in the future. So I think I got a good answer out of you.
Well, here's a game that's coming up that I would like to play. We've played BioShock 1 and 2. We have only got one left. Infinite, baby!
I was about to say Minerva's Den. Okay.
Minerva's Den was part of BioShock 2. We had to play those both in the same month.
I'd listen to that. Why do I... No, I don't remember half the things I did this morning, so don't worry about it.
We're so offended.
But no, you should do Hitman 2. Just letting you know. Best game of the generation.
Yeah, I really, really want to check it out. Hitman 1 is so good.
I would say really best game, but it's good. It's got all of Hitman 1 redone. It's got so much content. It's so good.
Yeah.
What's that game company again?
I want to play that game.
Who made that?
IO Interactive.
IO, that's what it is. It was like, what is it?
And they're working on Season 3, apparently. Was that, am I remembering that right?
I know they're doing something for Warner Brothers that's not Hitman, and I think they're also doing Hitman at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Where's that Harry Potter game?
Oh, my God, I know.
So you said Warner Brothers, and I'm like, oh, dude, God, if that's a Game Awards thing, I'm going to lose my shit.
I mean, the trailer was ready for last year's Game Awards. Just re-release the trailer.
Oh, man. The trailer. That's right. It was right before last year's Game Awards that leaked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fucking, what is it? That Warner Brothers Montreal... The Batman people.
Batman. Yeah, I don't know if that's ever actually been in development, but man, they are teasing something hardcore.
No, not Rocksteady. The other people, they were teasing Quarter Owl stuff.
Yeah, Montreal, who made Batman Arkham Origins.
Origins, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know those guys.
Yeah, it was around. That was the not Rockstar game that everybody was like, this isn't Rockstar. But yeah, they've been teasing Court of Owls stuff like a month and a half ago, or it was around Halloween, I think.
Mm.
Oh, it was Batman's anniversary. That's what it was around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Patreon.com/RespawnAimFire. Come watch it with us and see me freak out live on stream if they announce it. Let's wrap up with Game On Game Show, the game on our game show where we play Game On, a game we play on our game show. Game. This week, we have a new game. It's a game called Mama Who Bore Me, named after the hit musical Spring Awakening song, Mama Who Bore Me. I just farted as well. I hope that comes up on stream. So this game, I'm going to give you, I have a list of 11 characters. 11 classic, I believe they're all Nintendo characters. And I want you guys to just take a stab at what game you think they debuted in. And we'll see who can guess the most correctly. Right. So which video game did these first appear in? I'm going to randomize them by picking up and down the list. So no official technical randomization. But some of them are a little bit easier. Some of them might be a little bit harder and stump you. Well, I'm just curious to see what you guys got. We're going to start with Wario. What game did Wario first appear in?
I can't remember if Mario Kart came out first or Wario Land came out first. I don't think there was anything on NES Wario related. And was he even in Mario Kart? He wasn't in Mario Kart. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not going to look at anything because
you can't look at your phone, you cheater.
Yeah. I don't know. It's either Wario Land or Mario Kart on SNES.
I'll take your opposite answer. I'm taking the one he doesn't take, so I can be right.
Well, which one's your official answer, Holden?
I'll say Wario Land. Forget it. Yeah, sure.
Okay,
that would make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'll take Mario Kart then, since you took that.
Wario was the final boss in the Game Boy game Super Mario Land 2: 6 Golden Coins, released in 1992.
Oh.
I bet he was.
Interesting.
Yep.
That sounds like a Wario thing on a Game Boy game. Oh,
yep.
Lord.
That was his first appearance. Next up, Zero Suit Samus. Which we all know is just Samus, but when did the Zero Suit first appear?
So this is tricky, because technically Zero Suit Samus is from Zero Mission. And that was the Metroid Zero Mission. But in the original Metroid, we saw her at the end of the game. She loses her armor, and she's there in her her undersuit. Or depending on how fast you beat the game, it might be a bikini. But does that count as Zero Suit Samus?
That's what I was thinking. Is it when you found out she's a woman, or is it in the game where she's actually in the suit? I'm with you on that one.
I don't know.
I'm gonna just take the first one because that was a big old shocker spoiler back in the day. It's like, oh, that's a girl, so I'll take Metroid.
So I'll do the opposite. I'll say Zero Mission, just because the opposite of yours, so we're not doing the same thing. Keep it interesting, but also it's the first time it was named Zero Suit Samus, so I'm gonna go Zero Mission.
The official Nintendo answer is it makes its first appearance in Metroid Zero Mission on Game Boy Advance in 2004. However, it is not called Zero Suit Samus until Smash Bros. Brawl. That's the first time we see the name Zero Suit Samus.
Oh, so she has the suit, but they don't call it that until Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Interesting.
Next up, Baby Bowser.
Oh, I know this one for sure.
Yoshi's Island?
It is Super Mario Sunshine.
So, Adam, you say Yoshi's Island?
Because aren't there a bunch of babies in that game? Yeah, I'm going to say Yoshi's Island. I have no idea, though.
The answer is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is the first appearance of Baby Bowser.
Is it the same version that's in Super Mario Sunshine? Because that's when he introduced that character. I'm very surprised.
I don't know. So Holden is at 1. Adam is at 1.
Are you thinking Koopa Leagues?
Tied.
The Koopa Kids? Is that what's in the
Next
first time
up.
we get? And we'll see.
Next up, Magikoopa. This is the
Magikoopa?
the wizard one that like sends out little things and summons shit. Has the glasses.
Super Mario 2.
I'm going to say New Super Mario Bros. On DS.
Super Mario World on Super Nintendo in 1990.
Ooh.
Next
We're
up.
crushing it.
Yeah, you guys are doing real good at this.
Very good at this game.
Bowser Jr.
Bowser Jr., that's who is in Super Mario Sunshine.
Adam?
I think he's right. I'll just say 64. I know it's not right, but whatever.
Well, don't pick something. It's okay if you guys both guess the same answer.
Oh, well, I'm taking his answer then.
Yeah, it is Super Mario Sunshine. Yes,
Okay.
He's the boss of Super Mario Sunshine. Bowser Jr. and Baby Bowser, fun fact, share the same exact. Like they look exactly the same. The only difference is Bowser Jr. has an image on his neckerchief. I think it's like a Bowser image or something like that. Whereas Baby Bowser's is just plain white.
Different children?
Baby Bowser is Bowser as a baby, whereas Bowser Jr. is
his
Bowser's baby.
Okay.
Yes.
The Mario universe is very complicated, deep lore.
If you've ever looked up the Donkey Kong family tree, it is fucked up.
Yeah.
Whew.
Especially when they put Funky in there. It got real crazy.
Yep. Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie. Where was Banjo's first appearance?
It wasn't Banjo-Kazooie?
That could be your answer.
That's my answer, because I'm only aware of it being in 3 games, and that's the first one. So I'm going to say Banjo, but Kazooie, but now I'm thinking I might be wrong, because that seems like too obvious.
I'm going to say Banjo, but I feel like it's a Game Boy game by Rare that he's in. But I wouldn't know the name of it, so I'm going to say, Banjo 1.
Banjo first appeared in Diddy Kong Racing on the N64 in 1997.
Interesting.
Yep. Next up, Birdo. This is the pink dinosaur that spits eggs in the Mario universe.
Super Mario Brothers 2. Saying it again. Let's go.
Holden?
I'm pretty sure this is random, and this might be either I'm spot on or I'm going to say the dumbest thing ever. I think it's a Super Mario Baseball on GameCube.
All right. Adam, I'm going to give you half a point.
Okay.
Because technically Birdo comes from Doki Doki Panic on NES, which in Japan was not a Mario game. Mm-hmm. But in America, they reskinned it as a Mario game. So it is the same game just with Mario characters, and that's where Birdo comes from.
Yeah, so that's a full point. Because in America, which is what we're talking about.
But Birdo's first appearance was in a Japanese game called Doki Doki Panic.
I got you. I'll take that.
I'd give him the full point. Give him the full point.
I knew it
right
was
now
that
he's in the
game.
lead. If that full point makes him win, then yeah, I'll give it to him.
Okay.
Just because we need to see Holden lose. We just did Birdo. Let's do Dompe the Gravedigger. This is a Zelda character.
That is Ocarina of Time.
It's hard to argue with Holden, who's played every Zelda game a trillion times except for Majora's Mask.
But now that you mentioned the whole Banjo is in Diddy Kong, I'm like, was Dampy also in Diddy Kong Racing? And I didn't know about it.
Link's Adventure. No, Link's Awakening. No. Link's Awakening.
The answer is Ocarina of Time on the N64.
Who's the guy who needs the toilet paper and he's in the hole? Is that not Dampy?
That's Majora's Mask. That's a Majora's Mask.
Okay.
And I don't think it's Dampy. I think Dampy's somewhere else in Majora's Mask.
I remember there being a hand coming out of a hole in the ground saying, I need toilet paper.
It's a very memorable moment. We've got 3 left. Waluigi.
Mario Tennis.
Yeah, Mario Tennis.
It is Mario Tennis. Came out on both the N64 and the Game Boy Color. Same time, 2000.
I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna win. Then we have Conquer the Squirrel.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is the only game I'm aware of that has that character in it.
We just mentioned another one a couple weeks ago on the show.
Well, then I'm not aware of it. Adam, it's yours for the taking.
Here's the thing. I know that Conker's in another game, and I don't know the name of it. So I'm just going to say Conker's Bad Fur Day. But I know there's another game he's in, and I don't know what it is.
Conker the Squirrel first appeared in...
Did he? It was a Donkey Kong Country game? No?
I don't know. Was it? What's your answer?
Because... Let's just say Conker's Bad Fur Day. Just going to say Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker the Squirrel first debuted also in Diddy Kong Racing in 1997.
Damn, he got us. Now, you can look it up. I think Conker is in a Game Boy or a DS game. I believe.
Maybe. He also was DLC, like a big package in Microsoft's Project Spark.
Yep, I remember him, Project Spark.
That was like a big deal. They revealed, Conker is coming to Project Spark. Final one, the Koopalings. This is Iggy Koopa, Wendy O, Morton Jr., all those.
New Super Mario Bros. On the DS.
Mario Kart 64. Nope, it wouldn't be 64. I'm going to copy him so I don't lose.
The answer is Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES. They were all they were each a world boss, each of the 7 children. Mm-hmm. And then they also were on the SNES in Super Mario World. Those are each of the world bosses as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. In Nintendo lore, those were Bowser's kids. And then when Bowser Jr. was introduced, Miyamoto says, well, our current story is that those are Bowser's minions, and Bowser Jr. is Bowser's only son. So the winner of the game...
Talking about shafted.
Right? Yeah.
I think he just has a bunch of bastard children.
Just paternity lawsuits everywhere. He's like, those aren't my kids. I went on more. He said, I'm not the father. It is a tie because I gave Holden... so Holden has 4 points. Adam, you have 3.5, but I'm going to bump that up to 4. Just so that you guys tie.
So
and
we
you
don't let him win. That's where we go. Yeah.
Yep. Holden can't win. That's it for Mama Who Bore Me and Game on Game Show, and that is it for our episode today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. A couple of extra things. One, patreon.com/RespawnAimFire. You can influence what we play. We should be having a poll go up pretty soon about what we're playing for Barf next month. This month, we're playing Donut County. Again, audience participation is really what drives our hearts, our minds, our erections. Let us know what it is that you played and loved about Donut County or hated about Donut County. Email us, tweet us, whatever the fuck. Wallpapers came out. Those are available for all the months ever, except for this month yet, but those will be out at the end of the month. And then if you are a patron, you can watch the Game Awards with us live somehow. Stay tuned for how to do that this Thursday. And I had something else in mind, but we're going to instead go straight to Adam because I forgot what it was. Adam, tell the people again where they can find you and what you do.
You can find me on Twitter at Adam Gumby. That's where you find my link to gaming podcast, that D&D podcast. When the 103 episodes are done, I get the music. Adam Gumby, and those are the main 2 things that I do. That I put 110% into. Doesn't mean they're good, but I put 110% into them.
Well, thank you, Adam, again for being with us. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Y'all tied, and I'm proud of you.